Hello. This is this is Parmise. I'm filming from a coffee shop near you, sipping hot chocolate. I would say this is kind of awkward because I'm here alone and I'm talking to a camera, but I'm practicing filming in public, and today I have to film a video about a chapter of this book, Psychology of Money, chapter 7. So I've read this book up until chapter 7, and chapter 7 was so far the best chapter, I would say. Actually, chapter 6. Chapter 6 tells you when. You can be wrong half the time and still make a fortune. You can be wrong half the time and still make a fortune. So this concept is really cool to me. I would say is really cool to me because I'm a perfectionist and I think I need to win all the time. So the concept of you being able to be wrong half the time but still make a fortune is nothing less than revolutionary for me. So it starts with this really cool quote by Brad Pitt. I've been banging away at this for, okay. I've been banging away at this thing for 30 years. I think the simple math is some projects work and some don't. There's no reason to blabber either one. Just get on to the next. Brad Pitt accepting a Screen Actors Guild Award. Blabber, I don't know what it exactly means, but in this context, I think it means to like overthink it or like, yeah, or like not value either. So this is really cool. Say what you will about Brad Pitt, but one thing is for certain that he's been doing this for a long time. I think he's been making films as an actor for like 30 years. And as a producer, I think at least for 10 years. I know I don't think he's directed a film, but he's produced a number of films. He's acted in so many. This is a oneer. I don't want to do this twice, so if it sounds good, it sounds good. If it sounds bad, it sounds bad. That's the whole thing. Like, this video is like a video manifestation of what this chapter kind of meant to me. Like, I'm just gonna like do it and not really care about the quality. Not that I don't care about the quality, but it's like, I have my orange light here. I have my mic. I have my water. And I really like this cafe I'm at, actually. Before I continue with the book, I gotta say I really like this cafe. This is the bag that I have for my mics. I'm mic'd up. I got my little fluffy notebook. I was supposed to write the script of this video in this notebook, but I decided to just go for it because I knew what I wanted to talk about. And this video really needed to be like an amateurish video. Yeah, I want to practice to be a better amateur, a professional amateur, if you will. AirPods, lip balm. So yeah, I'm gonna go through this chapter and read some quotes, but mainly I want to talk about how cool the information that was in it was. I always have this instinct that, and a lot of like schools of philosophy that I've read, a lot of psychology, different schools of psychology, from psychoanalysis to I don't know, different stuff that I've read, kind of touches at the same thing, which is in order to win, you gotta be the last one running. Like, you gotta play this game for as long as you can, and the more you play, the more benefits there are for you to rip. So in the beginning of this chapter, it talks about this guy called Heinz Berggruen. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Back in 1936, and this guy, early in his life, he wasn't really up to much, but then as he grew older, around like 50, 60-ish, he was one of the most prominent art dealers of his time. He had a collection of um, Picassos, Braquis, Clees, and Matisses. So he sold this collection to the German government for more than 100 million euros. And, you know, he studied literature at UC Berkeley. And it says here, it says by most accounts he did not show particular promise in his youth. I would consider myself youth, I'm 24, so. This light is so cute, I gotta say. So when he sold the collection of paintings to the German government for more than 100 million euros, it was such a bargain that the Germans effectively considered it a donation. The private market value of the collection was well over $1 billion. It says that one person can collect huge quantities of masterpieces is astounding. Art is as subjective as it gets. How could anyone have foreseen early in life what were to become the most sought-after works of the century? You could say skill, you could say luck. The investment firm Horizon Research has a third explanation, and it's very relevant to investors. So this book is about investing money. Basically just money stuff, how to be an investor and how do you invest your money. I consider it education. It's a really good book. The investment, so the great investors bought vast quantities of art, the firm writes. A subset of the collections turned out to be great investments, and they were held for a sufficiently long period of time to allow the portfolio return to converge upon the return of the best elements in the portfolio. That's all that happens. So basically he's saying he bought a wide variety of art pieces. So there's really no way that he could have predicted that these specific pieces are going to be, from these specific artists, are going to be really sought after, like years later. But what he did was he bought a lot of different types of paintings from different types of artists, and that one small slice of his portfolio that he sold for like 100 million euros. But the rest of it might have not been worth anything. So to conclude, the great art dealers operated like index funds. They bought everything they could, and they bought it in portfolios, not individual pieces they happened to like. Then they sat and waited for a few winners to emerge. That's all that happens. So he would buy like a couple of paintings from one artist so that he could make sure that he has enough of one artist for that to be worth a lot, because chances are that that artist would get popular or famous. And when they would, he would have a bunch of their art rather than just one piece. So he would kind of bet his money on different, you could think of it as different players. So that's all that happens. Perhaps 99% of the works someone like Berggruen acquired in his life turned out to be of little value, but that doesn't particularly matter if the other 1% turned out to be the work of someone like Picasso. So basically what it means in a very simple way that I understand it, and I think of all the work you do, only 1% of it would like matter at the end. Like there's so much that we do that does not matter. Only that 1% matters. Meaning, going back to what the title of this chapter was, you can be wrong half the time and still make a fortune. Meaning, like you can be wrong more than half of the time, and you can still be a good player. Like we think that we need to be right all the time in order to be a good player, in order to be a good art dealer, in order to be a good investor. And the rest of the chapter, I'm not going to read all of it, but basically goes into like literal like math and data by yeah, like literally like the math of it, of just like the investors that just kept on investing. They just kept on investing, and then at some point in their life, they reaped the benefits. Oh my god, I love this song. Wait, I probably will be monetized. I just realized that I will probably not be able to monetize this video. Not that I mean, I don't know if it's gonna go million. I don't care. I genuinely don't care how many views it gets. It would be great if it hit like 1 million, but it would be also still great if nobody saw it because I'm having fun making it. But that said, I definitely can't monetize this because there's like copyrighted music in the background. Anyways, yeah, so you could invest that $1 into the US stock market every month, rain or shine. It doesn't matter if economists start screaming about a looming recession or a new bear market. You just keep investing. Let's call an investor who does the Sue. And then he takes Sue through different like examples, and then Sue wins. So you just gotta be average, basically, to be exceptional. You just gotta be average all the time. Like you just gotta do it. And that's really cool to me. So that was the book part.